You're listening to Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the official podcast of Lingerie Fighting Championships. And now, here's your host, Michael Larkin.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the official LFC Lingerie Fighting Championships podcast. My name is Mike Larkin, and joining me today is Dom, is showgirl, is AV actor, the one, the only Miss Daisy Janes. How are you, Daisy?
I'm well. Thank you for having me, Mike.
That's a pleasure. I got to say, folks, when you look at LFC and you look at beauty, strength, and dominance and women as a whole, we really showcase a lot of the finest women and some of the greatest women out there. And I got to say, Daisy is no exception. I mean, my goodness gracious. Let's talk about the fact that you're doing your thing on the Dom side of things. We see it on her Instagram. We see it on Twitter throughout her beautiful imagery. I want to ask you what kind of gravitated you towards the Dom life, because you've really perfected it, and it really is an amazing craft and a very sensual style.
So my whole bit, Mike, was because I was a professional submissive for 10 years. I won't make my submissives do anything that I haven't done. Now that leaves the door wide open.
And I think what I love about it, too, is as well as I think with everybody and each and every human being that we have on this planet that we call Earth, we have so many unique preferences, right? Whether it be the whips, the chains, whether everything in the forefront. But what I really love about it, too, is something that you also just put into the forefront, the safe and spectacular fashion, doing it safe and in spectacular fashion. I think you always want to accommodate and make the client comfortable as well. I mean, being a submissive, being a dom on both sides of the spectrum, I think if you could have a safe environment and also make sure that person has a great time, I think you're golden there. And I think a lot really goes into it that people really don't see.
I'm a huge proponent of RAC, which is risk-aware consensual kink. Knowing what you're getting into, what are the implications, what are the risks involved, what's everyone's safe words. I actually just had a client yesterday who he jokes with me all the time, Miss Daisy, I'm never going to safe word, I'm never going to safe word. And I trip him up all the time because I'll ask him mid-scene, what's your safe word? Maybe during a part where he is having difficulty speaking. Just because it's important to ground yourself in that moment. Yes, we're both on a high right now. We're both experiencing so many endorphins and we're excited and we're in the moment. We're checking in. We're aware of our bodies. We're aware of our minds.
And that's the thing too, and what I also love about the said Dom lifestyle. I mean, I could even go back to 2007, folks. You look at in popular culture, True Life, for those who remember on MTV, did a style of True Life. I'm a dominatrix, right? It shows the submissive side, it shows the dominant side. And I think what I've always found very interesting and also very compelling about said form, like you mentioned, the safe word, and like you mentioned, the main components, like we're discussing here. I've just always enjoyed the fact that people not only could, dare I say, let their freak flag fly, but really have them be open and creative in how they view things in different perspectives, whether it be of a sensual nature or just a fun nature. You know what I'm saying? There's so many things out there. I think a lot of people need to be more open-minded, expand the horizon, so to speak. And what a better way, or what a better art form, or what a better craft than Dom, right?
Exactly. I always recommend people, if they don't know what they're into yet, maybe if they haven't dabbled in kink, check out your local kink club. Check out your local rock club that maybe has a kink night and go and just be a voyeur. Take it all in. Don't get too drunk. Don't try to lower your inhibitions too much and force yourself to do something that you're not ready for. Just take it in. Be present. Ask questions. Tip the dom to do a tasting with you.
I love that. And I think not only just being in the moment and just tipping your dom, I think what's great about it too, as well, is I think for those who have not seen the imagery of one Miss Daisy Chains over here on her Instagram and Twitter front, I gotta say, man, love the imagery from the fact that you got the fire hoop going, showcasing that showgirl style. The hula hoop stuff is amazing, and adding the fire to it, not only pun intended, is explosive, but it really does share a cool little vibe to it. I wanted to ask about that because I really do enjoy that vibe.
Thank you. I've been hula hooping for, I don't want to age myself here, over a decade. And I've been fire hooping for about 9 years. I started, it was me and one of my girlfriends. We would been hula hooping for a while and hanging out. And she had gotten a new fire hoop and it had 5 wicks on it. Now, that was a big number for me at the time. I was very intimidated. And I was like, well, can I just play with it and see how much it weighs and see how it feels on my body with the extra weight? Next thing I know, she had the whole thing lit up. And I was like, oh, we're in it. We're in it. We're doing it. And I could not turn back from there. So that was the beginning of my fire hoop journey. The
I love
ability to control something that is so powerful can be so destructive. That's the charm and glamour for me.
Well, I also think, and we look at the world of entertainment, and there's so much entertainment out there. I think a lot of people can gravitate towards that. And I mean, from the Dom side of things and from the showgirl side of things, it's something not only do we showcase the sensual side of things, and I'll be honest with you, I'll make another pop culture reference. You look at back in the day with Madonna in the Human Nature video, Express Yourself, Don't Repress Yourself, from the Bedtime Stories album. You look at that video and its iconic view of just the overall whips, the chains everywhere, the Dom type of life, if you will. Look at so many things from Showgirls, the movie in itself. There's something that just showcases eloquence, elegance, and just overall erotic behavior, and I love it. It's the 3 E's, if you will, but it's really with a lot of grace and a lot of skill that really goes into everything that we do really in life, you know?
Exactly. And I've met so many different types of dominatrixes in this industry, doms as well. Let's not force them into a gender binary here.
Of course.
There's actually a club out here that does a monthly event for femdoms and themdoms, and it has been a wonderful social experience. I've met so many interesting people. I've met people that are more into sissification, added more to my dominatrix kinky resume, putting classes on gender affirming care, uh, more impact play, meeting people that are building furniture. Like, oh my goodness. I've had my eyes set. And if any of my subs are watching, on my wish list, I've added a new item. It's the Mark II Cross by Fedora Fabrications 8-Way Dungeon. It's beautiful. It's an all-in-one, and it's one piece of furniture that can be broken down.
And what I love about it, let's touch upon this gender care here, because I also love, because you're a big proponent in this as well. I think what we see with a lot of people, man, and for me, I've always been non-judgmental, like a lot of us should be. We talk about opening the horizons. We have so many great genders. We have so many different classes. And I think with everything that's out there today, and especially in today's society, and a society where we should express and showcase more positivity rather than negativity, I think what we see with the different classes and the different everything from the individuality and the equality side of things, I think it's great. I think with what you do there, that also shines not only another light on the overall genre and the craft, like we mentioned, but I think it just gives a lot of people the confidence and the overall, dare I say, the je ne sais quoi, to really showcase their style, their swag, and their overall ambition to try to do some things new and really be open to the public. Because I think that's one of the biggest things ever, is getting things open to the public and let your voice be heard. You're like the voice of the voiceless, if you will.
I like to tell people that I'm simply a conduit for kink. I'm here to facilitate and give you the agency to live your sexiest, kinkiest life, whether that be me as your mommy dom and giving you the care and tender love that you needed, or being a little bit more firm. Maybe I'm a mean schoolmaster. Maybe I'm a babysitter. I love putting on so many different hats when it comes to role play and scenes.
I think it certainly does show. I mean, I saw some imagery with you and Lola Booty Love, which shout out to Lola. Like, y'all doing your thing, whether it be vampires or you're dressing like a killer clown. The cosplay front, my goodness, from everything that we see with Comic-Cons, Exoticons, and all these different cons that showcase the cosplay and everything, you know what I'm saying? I really love that aspect, because cosplay is such an amazing, great form of entertainment and great form of art form, and just a great genre. I got to put those over, because you can rock the killer clown outfit. You can rock the vampire outfit, man. You rock it even for the holidays when you're dressing like an elf or wearing the Santa hat. There's so many things to really rock with, and I really appreciate that imagery and that overall diversity, man.
Thank you. I used to work in the haunted house business, and I've been a theater kid since the beginning of my days. I've always been on stage or stealing the microphone at the block party when I was a little kid. Like, I demand attention wherever I go. So anytime there's a theme, I'm like, all right, how can we rock this? How can I dive in feet first? I'm actually, not to let the cat out of the black cat out of the spooky bag, but I'm going to be doing some special effects work and collabs for Halloween time right before heading over to New Jersey Exotica.
Oh my goodness. Well, spoiler alert. I cannot wait to see those collabs, ma'am. And I will say this, like you mentioned, the black cat out of the bag. I think when you look at Halloween and like we mentioned, creativity and everything that goes into it, what I always do love about not only the holiday and the spookiness and the overall allure, so to speak, of Halloween, like you mentioned, the theater side of kids, you could be at the block party and everybody's singing, then you just rock the mic and steal the mic like Rob Bass and Easy Rock. It Takes Two. Hello. But it's stuff like that. Like you want to put yourself out into the forefront. I can respect that. I think a lot of us just want that not only to be the center of attention, but we not only know our worth and our creativity, but when you're in their theater, it's a performance. And if you really look at life in itself, everything that you do from the moment that you wake up into the moment that you go out that primary door, so to speak, you're really pretty much doing a performance. And it's how you apply your craft and how you hone everything that a lot of people can equate to. And I admire that because it truly shows your ambition.
Thank you. I always tell people too, I don't do anything that doesn't sound fun. I don't do things I don't want to do. Even the fundamental boring stuff, I'm doing it because I know it's good for me and it's going to feel good later. But everything I do career-wise is strictly like, could I do that? I bet I could. That looks fun.
It's the positively proactive style, ladies and gentlemen, always staying positively proactive and on the go. And speaking of on the go, I got to put this out into the forefront as well. Speaking of Exotica, great fan bases, great live entertainment from FetishCon, from Exotica, like you mentioned, New Jersey's coming up. Such a great event. I wanted to ask you about it because the fan base, the community, the vibrancy, what a time to be alive as Exotica. It's always such a fun experience.
My last Exotica, I was at a booth with Lola Booty Loving friends. We had the time of our lives. I forgot we were working, okay? We were partying, we were doing giveaways. We met so many new creators, producers, had so many fans come up and, oh, I've been following you for so and so many years. Do you want a picture? Can I sign something for you? It was an out of this world experience. And I am so enthralled to be linking up with these same people again for New Jersey Exotica. And even more stoked to be going on behalf of Sexwork PR and with Tough Wink Studios. We have 9 new films in the works. I am so jazzed.
Oh my goodness. Shout out to Geo. Shout out to everybody from Sexwork. And oh my goodness, what I love about it too as well is, and besides just to shout the admiration we have for you lovely people, I think just the creative content and the content creation that comes with it. We talk about how we have our surroundings in life and how we really have the great support system that we do. Such positivity, such professionalism. Got to give them a shout out, man, because they've been putting in the work and putting out the grind and really punking out those scenes, man, just right out the gate.
Yeah, I spoke to Lola. She said, "You going to New Jersey?" I said, "Yeah." "Are you going to Jersey?" She goes, "Yeah, I'm also gonna help out with Geo and setting up scenes. How many do you have planned?" I said, "Oh, I've got 2 or 3." She goes, "Okay, cool. Freedom to go ahead and book you for some more?" I said, "Yeah, sure, for sure." She calls me the next day. She goes, "All right, you have 7." The next day she goes, "You have 9." I was like, all right. We're going to pump those brakes a little bit and make sure I've got time for everything else I want to do.
The grind never stops. The grind never stops. But no,
Never stops.
It doesn't. And that's the beautiful thing of it. And I mean, when you look at Exotica too, as well, if you guys have checked out, like we mentioned, promoting Daisy's Twitter over here. God dang, man. I saw that photo that you also have with Stormy Daniels from one of the Exoticas too. That was friggin' awesome. You got to take a photo with Stormy Daniels.
Yeah, I was trying not to fangirl too hard. I was like, "Stormy, you don't understand how important the things you are doing for our country are right now. Thank you on behalf of sex workers everywhere." We both got choked up a little bit. We were right across too. We were right across from Stormy. I was looking at her the entire weekend like, Stormy Daniels, you guys, Stormy.
No, I would probably be doing the same thing. And I appreciate this because I think, and I've always viewed it like this, especially with LFC, which we'll get into because this one over here has our interest. And we'll get into that, folks, because I'm sure y'all want to see some daisy chains up in LFC. But I have to put this into the forefront just because my love and respect for all you ladies and all the sex workers out there. I mean, as a kid, we all have our urges when we watch adult content and adult creation and everything that we have now, especially in today's forefront with OnlyFans and ManyVids. But I think, like, when it comes to sex workers and the art form of what it is, it's sex, it's sensual, it's love, it's passion. But at the end of the day, instead of looking at it as something like you would put your head, stick your nose up at, or just put your head down at, you have to look at it as not only a business, not only fun, but it's an art. And I mean, sex sells, number one. And number two, the sex workers, much like yourself and many, have the great respect, decorum, love, and professionalism of putting out said content and making people gravitate, evoke emotions, elicit reactions. And that's what makes the whole entire industry there beautiful. And that's what makes sex work just the overall awesomeness, a whole big bowl of awesomeness, if you will, that it is.
And now is really, really the time for our fan base and our support to show through. It's a really hard time politically for sex workers. COSA just passed through legislation, is trying to set it up so that we're a little bit disenfranchised. It's harder for us to do our jobs. It's harder for us to connect with fans. It's harder for us to get our stuff out there. So any repost, any retweet, anytime you like, comment, share something, you're helping us out. It might not seem like a lot, but keep booking, keep sharing, keep showing up for us, and we'll keep showing up for you.
I look at it from a stance too as well, to add on to your point, because that's a great point. When it comes to social media engagement or just engagement in general, you see a lot of content creators either being shadow banned or community guidelines take you the F down, to put in the bluntest of terms. They take you the fuck down when there's so much other crap that's out there that could be striked or what have you, but then a certain this gets down and it's ridiculous. I think in today's day and age, especially what I love about what you're doing, because you're spreading positivity, and that's a very key component in anything in life and in the overall workforce, man. I think the united, not divided front, showing diversity, equality within the sex work, especially with a lot of the negativity that we got, and you mentioned the political side of things, a lot of it is just, you know what I'm saying, how society is. We need some love, we need some laugh, we need a lot of things going on, man. And I think what you guys are doing really puts that to the forefront and exuberates, and it overall accentuates what we get to see within the craft.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome.
My
Truth
whole
is
thing has been bringing STD rates down and orgasm rates up. I just want everybody to have a good time. And in a society where every corporation, every business profits off of sex in one way or another, whether it be sensual orange glasses or maybe a really hot mom feeding a particular brand of bacon to her perfect family on TV, you're still using sex appeal. So why disenfranchise the creators and the inspiration behind a lot of stuff that you see in social media and media in general today?
It's an interesting time period, just for the fact that, again, we look at a lot of these things, like you mentioned the word disenfranchised. There's so many things that you could take from sexualization and sensuality, and I look at LFC like this, because Lingerie Fighting Championships is a little bit of MMA, a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of clothing. You equate it and compare it to what we had with the LFL, which is the Lingerie Football League, which is beautiful women who are athletes, who are trained athletes, who are on the gridiron, and they're just looking sexy and sensual with their lingerie, but kicking butt and taking names at the same time. I think a lot of people would look at it as very pervy, as very, and they use the word P in porn, but also at the same time, you could say what you want about it. But at the end of the day, number one, it's a craft. Number two, it's a sport. But also number three, you have to realize a lot of what we're doing here is empowering, especially with DOMs and everything, because you have a lot of strong ladies out there, much like yourself. And I mean that with the utmost sincerity and respect, and to the forefront here, Miss Daisy Chains. There's a lot of empowerment and strong women that a lot of people can gravitate towards. And that's really important to anything with a person or any being in this thing that we call life. You have to look at it from the empowerment standpoint and the strength that it brings internally and externally to a lot of women and a lot of individuals.
That's right. We respect all types of work shoes in this house.
I like your style. And speaking of work shoes, man, we've been talking, and Lingerie Fighting Championship just had its last event, LFC 41, the Lingerie Fight Club. Check it out on the LFCfights.com. We touched upon and piqued your interest. I think you can concur with me. Not only does it showcase badassery from the fighting aspect, mixing MMA and wrestling like we mentioned, how awesome is it for you just to see? I mean, you've seen a lot of the content. You've seen the overall outfits and the overall presentation, because that's what it is. It's a presentation. It's the representation of your presentation. How awesome is that to see just the overall lingerie side of things and equating it to sports, and also showcasing that real deal sex appeal?
I mean, every single one of the ladies in the LFC is a hardcore athlete. We know that from the
Oh, yeah.
get-go. You look at these women who are putting in a lot of hours. They're putting in the blood, sweat, and tears, and it shows. They look absolutely phenomenal, and they're kicking ass. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little intimidated. But I have played contact sports my entire life, and I am kind of getting the itch to be active again. I need something a little bit more than the gym, but a little bit less than just picking fights on the street. So
Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. Now I like your style. So we got to talk about this contact sports because first and foremost, let's talk about the sports aspect because we have so many different avenues of Carl McGraw. We have so many different fight aspects and combats, and some people have played soccer, some people have played full contact sport. Let's talk about the sports, man, because I can look at you and I can tell right now, Daisy Chains, you got that ready to fight and throw with all your might. I could tell just by looking at you, and I love you for it. But god dang it, man, let's talk about these contact sports. What was some of the sports that you were playing, man? Because I'm sure that you were bending it like Beckham or doing whatever you needed to do.
oh my gosh. Okay, so I grew up in a neighborhood. The first 10 years of my life, really tight-knit neighborhood. Everybody's uncles, dads, cousins coached the sports. I played soccer, softball, baseball, hockey, street hockey, volleyball, softball for a very long time. Got into wrestling a bit, got into high school, told me that I couldn't continue wrestling. All right. So I picked the next best sport, which was cheerleading. That's what they offered to girls. And it was probably the hardest out of every other sport, conditioning wise. I didn't expect to be running so many stairs.
So it's like a regular Kirsten Dunst Bring It On back in 2000. Bring It On. Then we got Bring It On All or Nothing. Then we got Bring It On Again. And so
oh no, Kirsten Dunst had nothing on our training. Oh my God. We used to watch those movies and mock them.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Anytime you dropped a girl, whether it was a foot, a wrist, a shoulder, you were running the stairs. And we ran the stairs of the Notre Dame gym. And there were 4 flights, and that was 1 up. And it was 12 all around. And so 24 flights of stairs, and that was 1 rotation.
Oh my goodness.
We did not drop after a while.
Whew, that is hardcore. My goodness. But again, it teaches you ambition, teaches you discipline, and teaches you decorum, and it teaches you a lot of everything that goes into it. And I'm glad that you also brought that up because we joke about the Bring It On, and like we mentioned, we mock it from the pop culture standpoint. But I think what a lot of people don't realize is, like we mentioned, like the intensity of the cheerleading, the overall, the routine, how you set up everything from overall the stature and the overall statuesque aspect, and the routines. It goes. There's a lot that goes into it, whether it be wrestling or cheerleading. I think what I love about it too is not only the fact that I can see that you're a go-getter, number one, but number two, I hope you do get that itch and you get to scratch that itch, man, because not only is LFC about the MMA and the pro wrestling and fun and entertainment, pageantry and presentation that it is, I got to ask you, the L in Lingerie Fighting Championship, that L, and I'm not talking about the L that's in the shape on your forehead like Smash Mouth. I am talking about lingerie for Lingerie Fighting Championships. The entrance alone, from the moment you walk through that curtain, from the moment you walk into that ring, I got to ask you, Daisy Chains, what's some of your favorite lingerie from the overall sex appeal side of things? What are we thinking lingerie-wise, man? What do you like? Tell us.
I love leather. I fucking love. Ooh, can I? I don't know if I could drop the F-bomb on here. Okay, I fucking love leather. Leather bikinis, leather chaps, harnesses. I'm also a big fan of lace, but it rips real easy. I generally only get lace for a session to use in session. Pantyhose also rip real easy. I'm kind of partial to torn up fishnets. I go-goed and did fire performance in a dive bar in Chicago's South Side for a really long time. So anything that's punk rock, kind of edgy, kind of grungy, I'm into that. Also, a lot of vinyl and latex. I just ordered a new latex bikini yesterday.
Nice. Okay, I like that style because I'm thinking like in the history of LFC, like we had a fighter, Vita Von Starr, who's a professional wrestler. She's still doing her thing. She had like the chains, and it was very goth look. So I'm imagining you with the punk rock mixed with vinyl and stuff. I think that's a nice little variety that would go to it. I definitely am looking forward to seeing when that day occurs that we get you in that lingerie, man.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. And I mean, I look at it from a stance too as well, like this. I think with what you've done, and we got to put over the go-go style of things too as well. I think what Millie mixes just about your character and just who you are as a human being. Like you can rock the leather and lace, you can rock this, you can rock that. You can have a little ass worship, if you will. I think the worship thing is probably some of my favorite stuff of yours, because who doesn't, number one, want to worship a goddess? And number two, who doesn't want to worship an amazing woman like yourself, Daisy Chains? We as men worship and bow down to our lovely ladies, man. That's how it should be. That's how it should be.
It would make the world move a lot smoother.
Honest.
Just give into divine power. Give into divine feminine power. Get nurtured. It's good for you.
It is, and we love it, and we love each and everything that you do. And I got to say, what I also got to put into the forefront here as well, folks, this one over here, and we're going to put this into the forefront, Miss Daisy Chains. Your OnlyFans, you've been doing the damn thing. I love the OnlyFans, what you've been putting out there, what you've been rocking from the attires and everything. Give me some handcuffs, give me some chains, give me some overall sensual ambiance, if you will. Let's talk about the OnlyFans, man, because you've been hitting the grind and running the ground running, so to speak. I love it.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been in the top 10% on OnlyFans for the last 4 years. I've been on there for 4 years. I joined in 2020. Mm-hmm. It's been a trip. I've been looking to move more towards ManyVids because OnlyFans has gotten real big on censorship lately, and they continuously change the terms of service so that it's very vague. And at one point in time, they removed nearly 100 of my videos.
Oh my goodness.
Pretty much all my BDSM stuff was taken down. And they were like, this is too violent and volatile. I was like, well, do we need to go back and do like consent on camera beforehand? Because I can do that too. Mm-hmm. That's okay. We'll kick it old school. So ManyVids looks like it's going to be the new platform for my content coming forward. I will continue to post on OnlyFans monthly. Probably never going to abandon that. It's almost like the archives. It's got over 100 of my videos, thousands of photos, and a little bit of everything. So if people don't know what side of me they really want to see first, my OnlyFans is a good place to go figure that out.
And I love that you bring this up too, because we talk about the censorship with OnlyFans. And you starting in 2020, you see a lot of content creators, especially with COVID and everything that went around at that time, a lot of accumulation of money. We see the evolution of adult entertainment from what we had on the websites and everything as a kid to OnlyFans, bringing a lot of content creators together. And what I love about it too as well is the community is amazing, whether it be OnlyFans and ManyVids. But I think, unfortunately, again, we talk about the community guidelines. There's a lot of stuff that we would question censorship-wise just because of the fact of, like the overall nature and the grounds. But I mean, if you're moving towards ManyVids, and I did see the video that you post on ManyVids, very nice. And I think a lot of people should check on over to Daisy with what she's doing in ManyVids. I think what we get to see not only is the playful side, the sexy side, but I think the human being, because I think you can also agree with me, especially in today's day and age, the community, whether it be at anything Exotica or any event, the community on OnlyFans and ManyVids is awesome because people really just love the communication.
I love when people reach out to me and they're like, hey, could I get a custom? This is what I'm planning. I live for customs. I actually have balloons up in the corner to shoot a looning custom later today. I really love, though, connecting with people and being able to pick their kinky brains and finding out exactly what makes them tick. Because I've always known I've been kinky. I mean, since the beginning of puberty, I've known that I was kinky, all right? And I've done quite a bit of exploring. I'm a millennial. I've had a phone or a computer in my hands since I was a teenager. So, and Rule 34, if it exists, there's probably already porn of it. So let's make some more.
I will say this because fellow millennial running wild here as well, and I'll speak from the male point of view here. I think as well as where Daisy's talking about, like I would probably say 12 or 13 is when I knew what I liked, what I wanted to, and what I'm open to. And I mean, we've seen so many things from pornographic stuff, whether it be websites like we mentioned, OnlyFans and ManyVids, but I know what I like, and I can say first and foremost, like you give me some good vibes, you give me some great people, you give me a fun time, which it really goes into not only friendships and relationships, but you know what you like sexually. And then even as I get older, and as I'm 32 now, you get to explore more things. And I think what I love about it too as well is there's something for everyone. There's something for any body. And like I say, folks, you don't knock it until you try it. So I think that's the best way to look at it. But yeah, I'm like you. Like I always knew what I liked, what I'm into. And hey, if there's something new, give it to me. I'm up for the challenge. And that's how you really have to look at life in itself and just the overall sensual vibes and sexuality that porn, that adult content and content creation brings us, you know?
I agree. I like to try things at least twice to make sure I like them.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And I mean, well, let's put this into the forefront since you're mentioning ballooning. Like, it's funny because there's so many great fetishes. I mean, foot fetish is popular, so many fetishes in the BDSM, but ballooning, and I will say this because I have seen this, and I love that you brought this up, but involving a balloon, number one of the most great objects ever, the balloon, it makes everybody smile. It's an overall attraction for any fair or whatever that you go, especially a carnival. But ballooning, people love the balloons.
People love watching them get popped, deflated, the power struggle in between. I'm taking your balloons away. They're mine. You can't have these. We have to get rid of them. They're trash. That shameful feeling of getting caught. It's not always just rubbing them on your body. I personally really like the latex balloons when they pop against my skin because it feels like rubber bands, and I'm a little bit of a sadomasochist. But Mommy Dom Daisy likes to take her time.
All right now, baby, if you do it, take the time, do it right. We can do it, baby, do it tonight. And I think a lot of us will be seeing a lot of the things of you doing with us as far as you go within your work. And what I do love about it too as well is we'll mention the balloons, we'll mention the doms. I think whether you're doing the dom vibe or you're doing the submissive vibe, I think not only are both things awesome, and I'll quote my Euro trip here, so because a lot of the millennials, much like Daisy, will appreciate this. It's like when you go into Club Vondersex, man, and then we talked about the safe word earlier, the Flugenhagen, man. You got the little monkey in the background doing this. Oh my goodness, what a time for Euro trip back in 2004. But no, it's stuff like that that piques your interest and how you get interested enough. Because let's be honest here, folks. Amsterdam, they did it better. It's the kinkiness. You showcase the Amsterdam. That was also where he had the hash brownies and he started taking off his clothes. The girls never came. Like Scotty doesn't know. Hello, putting it back to luster. But that type of stuff not only showcases the European side and the freaky side and overall the fun side, but there's a lot of stuff that people can be into. I mean, look at Club Vondersex. That's a perfect thing that a lot of us millennials can remember just because of how iconic that scene was. So a lot of things like that stand out with people.
I hope that everyone's inspired while watching this to really, really check out current legislation and check out what decriminalization of sex work would look like for a lot of sex workers. I'd like to give them a little bit of insight there. Oh, decriminalization of sex work would mean that myself and other dominatrixes like myself could seek legal repercussions if someone were to transgress against us. We could seek adequate health care and not get judged while receiving that health care. And it would mean safer bookings for everyone involved. That opens the door for creative freedom. Think about how kinky we could get. We could get much freakier, you guys. We just need a little bit of love here.
Absolutely. And the love is here. The love is here from all of us. And the here is just in general, man. And I agree with you on that. I think with everything that we have right now, and especially with everything, we need to be more open with stuff. And I mean, again, safe and spectacular, like we mentioned. But I think in today's day and age, I think with everybody, don't be afraid. And I think, like you mentioned, to inspire, exist to inspire, and go out of your way and just explore, man. Explore. Exist to inspire and explore. I think that's the best way to surmise it.
The doms won't bite unless you ask them to and pay them.
Okay. Well, fair enough. I will say this. Don't bite me right now. We could save that for another time, but goodness gracious me. I love your style. I like what you're doing. And I got to say, I cannot wait to see what the future holds for you, Miss Daisy Chains. You are an absolute dynamo, and I really do enjoy what you do because you are applying your craft in amazing fashion.
Thank you so much, Mike. I really appreciate it. I've had a wonderful time here with you today.
Oh, absolutely. We got some pop culture references in, folks. We got some LFC talk. We got a lot of great stuff here. And the great stuff just keeps going and going on to the break of dawn, if you will. Now, Miss Daisy Chains, before we close this thing out, where can we follow you on the social media front? Telling everybody, being creative, showcasing your love, being the blunt, honest, and well-spoken human being that you are. Where can we follow you on the social media fronts?
My master link, that's going to be the website that houses all of my other websites, is going to be campsite.bio, bio, /Hoopsie Daisy Shy. That's HOOPSYDAISYCHI. My tag on every website, whether it be OnlyFans, Twitter, ManyVids, Facebook, is going to be Hoopsie Daisy Shy. Shy is in Chicago. I also want to implore everybody check out peplove.com. I have a spotlight coming up. So if you'd like to see a little bit more of my more taboo dark dom side, come check me out. In November, we're going to be offering a $20 off special on phone calls. And there's really no restrictions on the Peplove website, so we could talk about anything.
I will give a shout out here to Peplove because I've seen this woman, whether she's taking photos on a sex swing. Peplove is just an amazing site, and it's amazing interaction for a lot of people. And the link to Peplove will be in this description because it is a great website, and you also definitely check it out. Because I got to say, before doing even research like I do, and we let it free flow for this interview, man, I got to say, I got to give some love to it, man. I like what I see, and I can't wait to see more from it. I'm a fan. You have hooked me, man. I'm hooked.
Yes. Caught you in my chains.
That you did, man. All right now. But when you're not catching me in my chain, I'm about to break free on you because what we're going to do is we're going to promote LFCfights.com. Go to the website, man. Check out this podcast. Go to the VIP section. Check this face, but more check out this face because this dome right here, this face, this piece, this grill is one of the many great prospects that you got to see in Lingerie Fighting Championship. One of the great women out there applying her craft in amazing fashion in all different facets of life, whether she's cheerleading, wrestling, whether she's doing what she does, whether she's showgirling, whether she's dominant, whether she's doing her thing and showcasing and exuding that confidence. Daisy Chains is one of the many talents that you could check out at the LFC Prospects and check out our latest events, LFC 40 Booty Camp 5 and LFC 41 Lingerie Fight Club. But hey, don't break the rules because you might want to talk about Fight Club, but you might want to keep it on the hush because no spoilers. It's a great event. Y'all should check it out. But I will say this, as I say to close each and every one of these shows, life is an art form. We are all applying our crafts. Continue to apply your craft in amazing fashion, Miss Daisy Chains. And each and everybody listening to this show, stay creative, exist to inspire, love one another, and stay positively proactive. And Daisy Chains, do you have any final words for the people, your fans, the fandom, the doms, the submissives? What do you got? Any final words for the people?
Keep stroking. Get those wallets and phones ready. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. And with that being said, as I say to close each and every one of these shows, I can't follow that with this keep stroking. My goodness, I love this movie. Ladies and gentlemen, beauty, strength, and dominance, 3 key elements that make women the work of art that they are. Daisy Chains, I include you in those sentiments. Thank you so much for your time. I'm wrapped around the chain. I'm wrapped. You got me hooked. I'm wrapped around those chains.
Thank you for having me, Mike.
You're so welcome. Bye, everybody.
Come talk to me. I love the way you're on to me. Looking at you, looking like you're wondering if we're here for the same reason. And now that you wanna lay in the sun, getting love drunk, sticking like honey. Yeah, I bet you're here for some fun with that someone, feeling that something. If you're looking for a good time, honey, I'm right here. If you're looking for the good life, good vibes, honey, I'm right here. And I'm waiting for you. And I love you in your summer skin. Looking at you, looking like you're into it. 'Cause we're here for the same reason. Yeah, I just wanna lay in the sun, getting love drunk, sticking like honey. Yeah, 'cause I'm just here for some fun with that someone, feeling that something. That's something. If you're looking for a good time,